you talk to a lot of people, and it's not even just in hockey, but in all sports or even in business. You look at successful teams, most of them have good cultures, not good cultures, great cultures. If you look at unsuccessful teams, a lot of times it's because their culture isn't very good. And so team building and culture building is something that, you have to have the right people on board. You have to be talented to win. But at the same time, if you have talent that doesn't buy into what you're doing, and if you have talent that is playing for, themselves and not for each other, then you're never going to be successful. And it's recipe for a toxic atmosphere. And, every championship team or every good team that I've ever been on, we've loved each other and we've played for the name on the front. And there's been teams that I've played for that haven't been very good. And the difference was it was opposite. We had a lot of selfish people on the team, and you have people that are not necessarily playing for the greater good. And we didn't get along that well type stuff. And so, team building, just like what you do in practice on the ice, team building is something that's a living and breathing thing that can get better or worse every day based upon your actions and how you treat each other within a team. So, and that's what we're looking for. You go back to college recruiting, we're looking for players that can get the job done from a talent standpoint. But, if you're talented, but you're not going to fit in with who we are as a team or a culture, then we're not going to recruit you. And so, team building is a lot of it is who you recruit and the type of character that you have in the locker room. And so it's a big, big part of it.
Yeah. Maybe put you on the spot a little bit here, but do you have one particular drill or exercise that you like doing for the team or to create the kind of culture, whether it's at the beginning of the year or early on in the
Yeah.
season? What?
So I actually do a lot of team building. I'll travel around the country and do team building with different organizations. I've done it with a lot of different colleges. I've done it with some youth organizations as well. And I give a presentation that's basically, it's called the 5 R's of team building. And these are necessary things that a team has to have to become great, in my opinion, anyway. And that's resiliency. So the ability to bounce back as an individual and as a team when things don't go well, because as we all know, during a season, it's not perfect. And there's always going to be bumps in the road from a lot of different standpoints, whether it's injuries, whether it's losses, whether it's as a player, maybe you get sat out of the lineup. I mean, nothing ever goes as planned during a season. You talk about one of the other R's is relationships, how you treat each other, the way that you treat each other. Relationships are everything when it comes to building a team. Repetition, relentless repetition. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis to prepare yourself as an individual and as a team to get better and be successful? I talk about relishing the moment. It's very important to be in the here and now. It's very easy to, rest on the laurels of the past or be worried about the future. It's a lot harder to focus on what's right in front of you right now. And I think the best teams are able to do that. They just want to have the next best practice or they're just worried about the next game type thing. And then the last one is reflection. You got to be able to take some time to take a step back and reflect about things as a team, how you're doing, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you need to do to get better. And even as a player, you talk to any skill development, you talk to any coach in the NHL, they feel like one of the things that's really lacking with kids coming up through the system nowadays is they don't have an accurate self-reflection of who they are as a player. And I think that's a huge skill to have, to be able to really understand who you are, play to your strengths, know what your weaknesses are so you can work on those too. Having the ability to reflect is something that's really good. So I go around and we talk about the 5 R's. The kids, they interact with each other about them. They tell each other stories about some of the things that they've gone through or some of the things they do when it comes to those kinds of things. And I think those are essential things when it comes to building a team. Yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity. So I've built the Hockey Think Tank, and it's basically a hockey educational company. We put out a ton of content, just educating the hockey world. When I was coaching at Cornell and then when I left, I felt like, and you're doing this too, you're doing a great job, there's a lack of education for players, coaches, and parents out there. And I think there's a lot of people that want to get better. They just don't know where to go to find the information to be able to do that. And so I've been able to build a bit of an army and a following of people that like to at least like the information that we're putting out there. And it's been fun. Like it's been growing and growing and growing, and it's kind of taken off. And it started off as like a passion project, just wanted to put some info out there and on Twitter, and it's turned into this monster. And the podcast has been a lot of fun. Obviously, you were on there a few weeks back, and we're actually, I don't know when you're going to put this out here, but next week it'll be our 100th episode. And so we're really excited about that. Jeff's been on here with you. So yeah, just search us out, thehockeythinktank.com, the Hockey Think Tank podcast, and hopefully you like what we say. And we just try and provide a good perspective on hockey development. And, we talk to people from, the highest NHL Hall of Famers like Marty St. Louis all the way to, like youth hockey directors. We want to provide a wide range of people that we get on to do these kinds of things. And we've had a lot of fun with it too.